Alright, full ball vision is back. In full view. In full stream. In full flow. And in high spirits. You know what we do on this channel, if you watch him. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you're a first-time viewer. Well, then you're in for a fun treat. A fun time. Right, let's go. We are going to play some live blindfold chess. So let's go. Oh, hang on. So what? I think I understand something. Just a little pressure on the setup there. Okay, here we go. So we're in a live blindfold game. E4, E5, wooden pawn man. Great, like it. Wooden pawn man, what you got for us? Wow, new territory. Uncharted. E4, E5. Knight F3. What's it going to be? Riveting. Riveting. No wonder the views are through the roof. No wonder the views are through the roof. Well, wooden pawn man has tanked on move 2. Come on, son. You can do it. Knight C6. Knight F6. What could be thinking? Elephant gambit? Possibilities are endless. Maybe he'll go for a Philidor. Not sure. Not sure. Come on, wooden pawn man. Maybe he's seen that we're streaming and he's just trying to check in, see what we're thinking. Maybe that's what he's doing. Just trying to steal our thoughts. Trying to work out what was the point of knight F3. Figured it out. We're attacking the pawn. They've protected it. All right, bishop c4. We don't play that so often in full ball vision. You know. It's not like we play it in every single game with both colours. Nah, that would be boring. Okay, let's see what's going on. Wooden pawn man has tanked. I mean, you know, when people take this long in the opening, you think they're probably doing something else, aren't they? Like, he's probably watching telly or someone's asking him, like, you know, what to put on the shopping list or something. Definitely preoccupied. Wooden pawn man is preoccupied. Doing something else, for sure. And he's still connected, so it's not like he's on the tube and he's like disconnecting or something like that. Or his connection's a bit flaky. Causing him to, you know, take a while with his moves in the opening phase. So he's clearly preoccupied. And I say he because, you know, it's wooden pawn man. You know, so I'm not being too, you know, overly presumptuous there, I don't think, given the handle. Chess handle. Well, this makes for absolutely compulsive viewing, doesn't it? Knight f6, in it comes. The two knights defense. Wooden pawn man, gotta hand it to you. You have found a great move. Maybe this guy just doesn't know any opening theory whatsoever, and he's just whipping out these belters from his own calculation. Or maybe just his intuition. It just takes a while for the intuition of wooden pawn man to reach the hand, and then through the hand and the mouse and the medium of digital technology do the wonder moves of this maverick player grace our screens. And look at this. Knight takes e4. What's that? You know, I'm not sure whether to give that a
interrobang
or
questionable.
To be honest with you. Okay. Now, Maybe we should just take on e5. We could take on e5 either with the knight or the pawn. I like capturing with the pawn because we threaten queen d5. Maybe we should just play queen e2. I think queen e2 is the move here. Somehow I feel queen e2. Because the top move was d5, right? Yeah, queen e2. Let's go. Queen e2. Yeah, I wonder why we don't take on e5. We'll have to check that out later. But not now. Not while we're in the flow with Wooden Pawn Man. The man who invents well-known, reinvents well-known opening theory live on Full Board Vision. d5, in it comes. Now then. So d5 has attacked our bishop. Fair. We're a pawn down. Bishop b5. Not really worried about that because we can take back. So should we play knight takes? Maybe we should take with the pawn. Queen takes. You know, I'm just going to keep the bishop on the board. Maybe that's not a great idea. I don't know. We're currently a pawn down. But we are threatening to take on e5, which would well, it would open the d file, so that could be helpful. We're not ahead in development either. I'm not quite sure why we sacked this pawn. Hang on, hang on, I don't understand what happened here. We played d4 and they took on e4. What? Just trying to figure out what happened because it's confused me. After d4 they played knight e4. Oh, then we almost certainly should have just taken on e5. Okay. Our knight is pinned. I think we should take on e5. Okay. That I understand. I was under the impression we shouldn't have played queen e2. That was stupid. Now then. What if? Well, that's not going to work now. I don't think. We can't capture here. Okay, so this is coming. We can capture back. Should we play knight c3 or should we castle? I think we're gonna get the g pawn forced to f3 here. So. But then that would actually hit this knight, wouldn't it? So if we castle and they go like this, and we just take back, it's actually a fork. And they don't have a move like queen g5 to sort of cause us any damage there. So, okay, so maybe we should just play h3. Maybe that's what we should do. Drive the bishop away. Like, I don't think they can play bishop takes f3. gf, and we hit the knight and the other knight behind it. So bishop f3, don't think it can be played. Wooden Pawn Man is a pawn up. A wooden pawn up. But he's also a minute down and ticking. The inexorable ticking of the chess clock is going to cause Wooden Pawn Man a few problems, I'm guessing. Well, I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat. I mean, this is just raw entertainment. It cannot be bettered. I don't think. I mean, nah. Well, I mean, Guys. Maybe there's a superb tactic that's about to be uncorked. And that's what the investment of time is all about. No, in fact, just resignation. Why would you resign there? I mean, I don't get it. Let's have a quick look at the analysis. Now, maybe Wooden Pawn Man was thinking, if I capture here, yeah, white is better because we hit this knight, and if the knight moves, we take this thing, right? So, I mean, what can you do? I don't see a solution to that, so that's not good. Oh, so your bishop is attacked, so you've got to do something about it. Yeah, bishop h5 makes sense. And then were they thinking, well then, I don't know, g4, but I guess g4, there's always knight takes f3 check, captures and drop the bishop back to g6, so yeah, I mean, and black, according to the engine, is just better here. They've got an extra pawn, and look, our king side is just weird. So resignation, I would suggest there was premature. I think it was premature. Right. Just having a quick look at my scene, my initial scene. I think it looks good. Okay, we're going to go for another game. That one was a bit of a wet fish, wasn't it? It's a bit underwhelming. Didn't have all the excitement and fireworks that we expect from the stream. But that was the last game. This is a new game. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. And Kanchanar1234 is essaying which line of the Italian defense? The Italian defense? A6, H6. Okay, so this move H6, it's designed to stop a piece landing on G5. But unfortunately, it just allows white to play easy moves. You know, I wasn't going to put a piece on G5, actually, so it doesn't really bother me. I guess long term, it's not a bad move. It's not a bad move. But long term, is it a good move? I'm not sure. Now we can actually take on C6 and ask them why they allowed us to do that. Now we can also trade queens. Isn't bishop f7 a thing now? I feel like bishop f7's a move here. Reason being, the d file opened, right? Our pawn went to d4 and it was captured, and they just moved their d pawn to c6. So the pawn structure, let's just have a look at this. Let's just discuss this pawn structure for a moment. Yep. Hang on. There's no e pawn. There's no pawn on e5. Our pawn structure looks like this. Okay. Yes. Now, we've got a bishop on c4. The d file is completely open. And this queen is unprotected except for the king. So if we play bishop f7, king takes, they'll lose the queen. Apart from that, they've then got the move bishop b4 check. Then we play queen d7, takes, and we win a bishop. Oh no, we don't win a bishop because we gave up a bishop. Okay, and then they take the e4 pawn. Who's better in the resulting position? No, because we play... we can take back with a knight, defending our pawn. Right? That's the line that I think we should go for. It's a good line, it's a good line. So bishop f7, king f7, queen takes d8, looks like a loss of a queen, but bishop b4, queen drops back to d2, bishop takes d2, check, knight d2. We hem our bishop in, but we hold our e4 pawn. So I think we win a pawn out of that whole transaction. Can they do anything else? If they do king e7, that's probably worse because we trade queens and then you know, we just win a pawn with probably knight d2 or castles. Yeah, e4 is hanging, but I think we can probably deal with that. Maybe even with bishop g5. So I think it works. I'm going to call it. I think it works. Let's go. Oh, hang on. We can't play bishop g5. Remember, there's a pawn on h6. We always forget that. But still. Bishop f7.
Question mark.
No. Bishop f7.
Exclam.
There we go. Correct. Richtig. Okay, so missing the best line, well, what I thought was the best line with king takes f7. Cool, so what should we do? Well, if we allow a trade of queens, we'll drop the bishop. If we don't do anything about that, we could just drop the bishop back. The trade of queens good for us? Probably not. So I think we should trade queens, forcing them to take back with the king. And now we've got time to deal with the e4 pawn. Now, knight c3 is going to be a bishop b4, and I don't like the look of that. Knight d2 hems this bishop in. I don't mind f3, actually. Don't mind it. Could we play e5 even? e5, e6. It's not completely ridiculous, is it? The knight comes to e4, or it can't go to d5. Well, it can, but this feels a bit premature, though, I've got to be honest. Bishop e4 is probably coming. Knight c3. Bishop b4. Can we get away with bishop d2? Takes. Knight takes e4. Bishop g7. And the rook is... No, he has rook h7. Oh, that is so annoying because I've got h6 in. Oh, rook h7, but then there's bishop g6. Rook takes. But g2 is hanging. Long lines. All right, maybe just knight d2. I mean, still bishop b4, but then there's c3. Hard to know how to defend this e4 pawn. I think that line kind of works. I think we can play knight c3. Bishop b4, bishop d2, bishop takes, knight takes, bishop 8 g7, rook h7, bishop g6, rook takes g6, and bishop takes e4 because we protect g2 at the end of the line. And there's no desperado. Like, if after bishop g6, because we attack the rook, there's no knight desperado. Okay, interesting calculation, but let's give it a go. Yeah, expected. I mean, it's kind of working out. Yeah. Fair. I think we just won a pawn. Bollocks. That is so annoying. We got close. We were close. Oh, hang on. Check this out. Oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful twist at the end of this line. Castles check. Love it. Absolutely love it. King goes to c8. No, he didn't. That was bishop d7. Now we've got bishop f5. Did all the pieces get traded? Apart from the light square bishops. Yeah, we traded a pair of pieces. Yeah, okay, everything got traded apart from the light square bishops. So now their pawn structure is like this. Oh, they got nothing on g7, and ours is like this. So we want a clean pawn. This would be a good game if we manage to finish this one off. So I think we're walking into exchanges with bishop f5. I think so. I don't think there's any harm. We could also try for rook d4, which threatens rook a d1. d4, they'll go c5. Probably. Bishop takes b7. They take us and then we get the rook. However, rook d4, c5, bishop b7, rook b8 is a problem. Okay, so we can't do that. So let's play bishop f5. And I think we will just trade. And maybe now we can play rook d2. Okay, so the king went out. So there's no pin. Now our bishop's attacked, but we can give bishop g6 check now. That will be met with king f8. I think we should just go into the rook and pawn ending, to be honest. Oh, let's see what they capture back with, actually. Now, they capture the rook, and then we get rook a d1 for free. Yeah, rook a d1 check. The king will have to go to where? d8. Good stuff. Oh, instead they decided to block the check. That does make sense. It does make sense. Okay, so I think we should... Okay, how should we continue? Do we just trade and go into a rook ending? I think we should do that. Giving us good chances of winning this rook ending. Let's try and get our king into the game somehow. I don't think so. Kanchanar 1, 2, 3, 4 wants a draw. Oh, that was a terrible move. King d7, I think, because now we just own the open file. Our king cannot be checked, so the rook can't come out with a check. Okay, so they're going for the pawns. You know, this is our candidate, right? This is our passed pawn here on f2. Let's just advance it. Right, now they attack the b3 pawn. So they're trying to create a weakness here. But, okay, oh, we've got two extra... no. Oh, we've got a big majority here. So let's do that. Going to go back c8. Put the pawn on c5. No, we're just covering everything. Rook's going to get to e5. f4, not c5. Get your squares right, mate. Get your squares right. All right. Okay, so minority attack. We've only got 2 minutes left. The minority attack might cause us to have a weakness on b3. So what should we do? I kind of feel rook e4 so that we can respond with like this. So we can meet h5, h4 with g4. Okay. Interesting. Can we swing the king over now? King c6 kind of solves all of our problems. That's f3. King f3. Get the king to f3. This was a half decent game, you know. I'm looking forward to looking at this one afterwards. Even if we, you know, capitulate. Because we're low on time. Right, so I don't think this is much of a problem. King c6, that was the idea. So we defend our b6 weakness with the king. And now we've just got two clear pass pawns. Really well placed pieces. They're trying to get in behind. If you pardon the expression. Should we just advance? I mean, their king is over here, right? I think it's too slow. I think it's too slow there. Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Oh, shit. No, we're all good. Oof, I thought I'd blundered rook f2, but my king's on f3. This pawn's just too quick. All right, so they want the skewer. Clever. Clever, but where's the king? Their king is on d7, right? So we could give a check. The king would go to d6. Then we might be getting skewered. So we should just solve this in the best way. What is that? It's probably just to bring the king up, isn't it? I think that's it. Let's just bring the king to g5, supporting f6. Just use the king to support the pawn. The black king isn't doing anything. Okay, good. Hang on. Now we can just go rook e7, actually, and we can trade into a winning king and pawn ending. But I think that we don't really need to be that fancy. Keep the pressure up. Okay, now just king g6, right? And I think we attack the rook. We're getting closer to queening. Yeah, okay, this is over. Good game. Good game. I'm looking forward to having a look at this one. Oh, you know what? We may even get a knight and bishop checkmate if we're lucky. Because they got loads of time, and we've not got much, so they'll try and flag us. All right, now we can just trade rooks. Bring the king to g7. Oh, the king's already on g7. Okay, let's just queen. Okay. All right, let's make a queen. Now we just get rid of all of their pawns. Well, okay, not quite yet. What I like to do in these situations when players play on is, was that king c5? I think it was, right? Not king d6. So we're all good. Is make a knight and a bishop. Promote my pawns, make a knight and a bishop, and try and win the knight and bishop ending. I think I can see where everything is. So our pawns are still at home, and their pawns, I think, are here. No, they're not. So the b pawn is somewhere else. Is it on b6? I'm not sure, but we'll find out sooner or later. b4. Queen a7 check. Okay, now we'll take the a5 pawn. All right, now I think we can take the b4 pawn. Okay, we just hung our queen, but that doesn't really matter, because... Does it matter? Hang on, why can't I move my king in? Oh shit, now I've just mouse slipped that move. Where did I... Okay, right, let's not lose this. Let's not lose control. Do we have to... Okay, I just blundered my queen, but why? Was there a pawn on c5? Okay, where is the king? My king is, and I mouse slipped king f5. Opponent offers a draw. Good one. I think we can win this way. I think we can win this way. Is there an en passant capture? Yes. Now we've got a c pawn, right? So we push the king this way, and we're just in time, right? We just get the opposition. Well, in fact, we're clearly in. We're in time. Whew. Right. So king d4 or king d5? I don't think it matters much. King d5 feels like the way to go. All right, no knight and bishop, mate, but still, at least we won the game. Wasn't without incident, though, was it? Blundered our queen. Does happen. It happens to all of us. So what's the quickest win here? Probably this one. Limit the king. Classy. Kick the king in the corner. Ooh. Do we? Yeah, okay. And then just bring the king, and then we can pre-move queen b8, and that's not how it should have gone, but how it did go. All right, let's have a quick look at some analysis, because it was a really interesting opening. Really interesting opening idea. So we get this a lot, h6. It's really interesting because, I mean, I guess players don't like to meet this line, right? They don't like to play against that as black, so they throw in h6 to cover the g5 square. So, but this allows white some easy play. Knight f6 makes sense. However, we can just trade, and here bishop f7, yeah. So it is a good move, and it is winning according to the engine. Decisive advantage. Now king e7. The move that I thought would be played would be bishop f7. Bear with me. This looks like it hangs a queen, but there's bishop b4. All right, just going to win the queen back. You probably play. No, sorry. You've got to play queen d2. That's what I thought. And then here, right, and this is the only move. Knight d4 protects the pawn. So knight takes d2, excuse me. Protects the e4 pawn. So that's why bishop f7 actually works. Queen e7 apparently is just as good for black and for white. Still a decisive advantage. Okay, and this line was pretty good. Bishop d2. Okay. And I'm quite happy because we saw all of this. Bishop takes g7, rook h7, bishop g6, fork, and we capture on e4, defending the g2 pawn. And I thought this was really nice, but I missed this move, rook e7, which it looks like it wins the bishop, but we've got this very, very classy detail at the end of this line, which makes the whole thing work, which is castles. Okay, there's also f3, which I didn't see, so f3 is perfectly fine. Oh well, so that was a nice refutation of this h6 thingy. All right, and then we went into a rook and pawn ending. And yeah, we saw all the counterplay. Okay, and at what point did we blunder our queen? Ah, here we did. Okay, we blundered it in two different ways, and we still even had a passed pawn there. Okay, no, not too bad, not too bad. Let's crack on, because I think that was okay. Let's get another game down. Let's get another game down. Bit of brute. Okay. Here we go. Live blindfold chess. So e4, e5. Actually, knight c3. Okay, we're going into a Vienna. By the looks of things, probably f4 will be played. But RS 2015 has hit the tank. Nope, f4 as expected. All right. Yes. Okay, I guess we play knight takes e4. Queen f3. Then there's this move knight c6, which I like. What's the idea? They're going to trade, right? No. After they take on e4, we jump in d4. We get a tempo on the queen. If queen c3, which it looks like it hits our knight, we capture on e4 and we discover a defense of our d4 knight. And incidentally, we also threaten bishop b4 in that position because then we get a knight fork on c2. So happy days. Let's see how RS 2015 continues. Queen d3. Okay. Okay, same idea. The difference is that they want to take the e4 pawn afterwards. Okay. Now then, we're at piece down and we're pieces attacked, so we should probably do the thing, but we've also got queen h4 as an idea. That's a check. Now then, g3. We could take on e4, They take, and then we capture back like this. Guess the difference is that resulting position with threatening knight c2. So I'm torn. I'm torn between taking back immediately and playing queen h4. Oh, hang on. On queen h4, there's knight f2, so that solves that. Good. Okay. Glad we saw that. Okay, now. Okay, now there's no queen h4. But there is bishop f5. And this looks crushing. Bishop f5 is a really strong move because in tandem with the knight on d4, we attack c2. And I guess, by the way, where are our pawns right now? We don't have any, do we? We don't have any in the center. Our d5 pawn went here and got captured. And e5 pawn was captured here. So we're currently like this. But they've still got a pawn on e5, haven't they? I think they're looking like this. Let's see. Yeah, I think they have. So we're a pawn down, but they've developed their queen to the center of the board. Okay, are there any checks? I don't think so. I don't think so. So bishop f5. Maybe that was the problem with his queen d3 idea. You know, that when we take on e4, that's with the tempo against the queen. And if the queen recaptures, you get hit with bishop f5. And I think we've got full compensation for the pawn here. And that's just my feeling. Queen b2. Okay. Now, that doesn't threaten anything because my rook is defended. c3 is defended. I mean, knight c2 comes with a check. And I take the a1 rook after something like, no, king d1. I'm still not worried about bishop queen c6 because the bishop can retreat to d7. My king doesn't move and I maintain the defense of my rook on a8. So, I mean, it's getting a bit hazy because so I can't see the pieces, but I think there's a fork on c2 and that looks good. So I'm just going to go. Go, go, go. Give me a rook. Okay, king d1, that's what I thought. I think we can just grab the rook, but is there anything better? We don't want to throw in rook b8 because then we'll get hit with queen c6, which actually is going to pick our rook up, our knight up on c2. So let's grab the rook. Take the material and run. I think there's a pawn on e5, if I understand. Oh, I didn't see that one. Bishop b5 check. Right, that's a different matter. Bishop b5 check. Okay, bishop d7. Bishop d7. We can't play queen d7 because the b7 queen will take our rook with check. Okay, we're already an exchange up, so maybe we can just take back with the king and just hope for the best. c6, is that a thing? Bishop takes, it's just going to kill us. Bishop f5. Right, Bishop d7 it is, and we're just recaptured with the king. I mean, how bad is it? We're currently a whole rook up over here. Yes, this knight's lost. It's trapped. It's going to get captured. But I mean, if we can somehow get some coordination in our pieces, or coordinate our pieces in the time that it takes them to, I don't know how they'll win this knight, to be honest. What have they got left? They've got to get a knight to f3 and their dark square bishop out somewhere. I don't know, maybe e3. So they played knight f3. That was kind of expected. The king is on d1 though. You know, the king is on d1. We can play rook b8 now. Queen d5 probably. e5 pawn is annoying. That's definitely true. All right, what's going on? What's on the board? What is on the board? Let's just rethink. So they've got their minor pieces are here and here, I think. Yeah, we traded knights and we traded bishops, and I won an exchange, or a full rook actually over here. My minor pieces are, well, there's only one, right? It's this dark square bishop. Their rook is here, and my rooks are here and here. There's a lot of space on the board. I've got pawns like so. They've got pawns like this, I think. Oh, there's still a pawn on d2. That's an important detail. That's an important detail. Okay. Now let's choose a move. Bishop e7? What about rook b8? And if they go queen d5, we just play king c8. Then they'll take on f7. Okay. But what we want to do is trade queens. That's certain. Difficult. Got to be honest, it's a difficult position with this king on d7. All right. Bishop c5. You know, maybe we can play bishop c5, queen b7. Queen b5, sorry. No, we're just hanging the piece. I think we need to develop this way. We're kind of lucky, I think, that the d file isn't open, and that the king and the pawn are kind of preventing an easy skewer. Okay. Queen might be landing here. How bad is that? I mean, yeah, okay. Currently, that's quite bad. I think we need to do the rook b8 thing. And allow the queen moves. Not worried about that. Then there's a knight c6 fork. Alright, don't like the look of that. Maybe we're just getting hammered here. Okay, so if we do rook b8, queen c6, then we force the queen to the c6 square, which is where the knight wants to be. So maybe that's what we should do. Difficult this though. It's a really difficult position, I think, to play blindfold. Tension. Okay, expected. I guess we've got to drop back to... Oh, what about this one now? Okay, 7. Guess we're giving the exchange back for sure. If we can even hold on to it. Queen b5 there. Okay, and then the question becomes, can you actually get my knight back? All right, that's what we should do. We should give up the b8 rook. Because we did win a c2 pawn, pawn e5. Maybe we'll get a decent position if we give the exchange back. It's worth a try. I'm expecting queen a6. Queen a6, rook b7. Oh, hang on. No. The knight's on d4. Aha. So the knight cannot attack the b7 square. Okay, the rook b7 looks like a decent alternative. Did we just attack that? That's a clever... It's a fortunate detail of the position that I think we just discovered an attack on the d4 knight with our d8 queen by moving our king to c8. This is a crazy position, isn't it? Do you know what I think this is?
Chaos.
I think it's pretty chaotic. Especially with this guy just hanging out on a1. How you doing over there? Sorry, mate. We just kind of, you know, you're like collateral, weren't you? You picked up the rook and then we just left you over there. Knight back to f3. Okay, I don't think... I'm very happy about that. It's the way I should phrase this. Didn't we just attack the queen? Oh, the queen went to c3. Okay, so we can play, for example, rook b6. Queen a8. Yeah, maybe not. Can't we play this move? No, what's stopping that? And where are we at the moment? This might be played. Then we go here. There's no queen b5 then, because our queen is covering it. We attack the queen, and we also threaten queen c2, which is going to pick up that bishop. Now maybe it won't, but we have ideas there. Somehow I feel like queen d3 must be a good move. Let's just check we understand. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. Going to go for it. Let's go. So they've got a knight, a bishop, and the only real attacker, which is the queen on c6. Like I say, I'm not worried about queen e8 because there's king b7. There are no checks in that position. And we attack the queen, and we threaten to bring our knight back to c2, or to play queen c2, king d2, king e2, excuse me. Oh, there are all sorts of things we can do, I think. Probably just bring the knight back, actually. Threaten knight e3. With the pin on the d2 pawn. So this looks like, I think we found a good move in queen d3. And it looks like we've managed to unravel. Let's see if our opponent agrees. Whether our opponent agrees. Well, heavy material advantage. Plus 4 points. It's kind of cheating, really. I can see the material offset, so I can see the difference in material. I can see that I've got a rook for a pawn. Let's just try and place the pawns. So I think it's like this. And for us, it's still like this. Oh no, d2 as well, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Knight bishop, rook, queen, and our pieces are knight, queen, rook, bishop, rook. Sorry, the queen is not on b7. The queen is on c6. Kings, where are they? d1, c8. Okay, looks like we're moving on up. Move on up towards our expectations. Actually, destination, but you know, putting our own stamp on things. Radio silence, isn't it? While our opponents are thinking. It's going to be a brilliant move, isn't it? Been tanking. Tanking and tinking. Mayday, mayday. We are sinking. We are sinking. Oh, yeah? What are you sinking about? Well, I think we must have caused RS 2015 a bit of a problem. Some problems. And okay, there we go. Okay, that was the move. Queen E8 check. So just King B7. That's what we expected. Queen A5 is the move. So that's interesting. Okay, so they're saying you can't go here to C2 because you'll lose. Fair. So instead of that, we can't pick up on F3. Can we play Rook B2, Bishop B2? Probably not, but we can play Rook B4. No, we can't. So our king's on B7. Okay, good. Good. Okay, now there are... Well, I wouldn't say there were problems exactly. I fancy a bit of Bishop F4. Still, Queen B4. There's no Queen B5. There's no Queen B6. And there's no... Okay, so there are actually no checks. Currently. So let's just see what happens if we do play Bishop C5. Because it looks like they can't pick this bishop up with either of these checks. Well, of course not this one, but yeah, B5 is not a check that can be played. So it looks like we're doing okay. At least in my impoverished view of the world. Two minutes down on the clock. It's going to be a chaotic finish.
Chaos.
But I think we've got a good position. Very good. Very good. Okay, what do we want? Rook. And when do we want it? Immediately. Okay, this is not happening, thankfully. Okay, let's bring this guy into the game. 20 seconds on the clock. Are we going to be able to last? Pawn on e5. Don't forget that. Okay, so one thing that we allowed ourselves to do is rook. We really need to cover this square so that we can go here. Maybe we could play bishop, rook b7. Maybe we should do that. So a8, king a8, queen c6, and rook b7. Perhaps. Let's see what our opponent throws at us and try and make quick decisions and get out of this game with the W. Big W. Come on. Well, we could sack an exchange. Why would we do that, though? I think that's unnecessary. I think we should try this maneuver here. So king. Okay, the queen went to... So they offered a queen trade. Okay, understood. Right, but... Oh, well, let's just take it, of course. Mm-hmm. Okay, king a8. So we are just an exchange ahead now. And we're threatening rook b4. Okay, let's just take that. I think that's just a hanging piece, isn't it? I think it was just a hanging piece. Okay. Let's drop back. Okay. We don't want to do that, I don't think. Or maybe we did, I don't know. Okay. I'm going to just push here. Reason is, where are our pieces? Jesus, bishop there. Okay. E5 pawn. Rook here. Okay, let's just take that. Rook takes. Okay. Where's our rook? It's here. So we can go like this. Nope, like this. Oh, that's our king. Where's our other rook? I don't understand where my other rook is. It's on b1. Okay, good. Fine. I'm going to put my king over here. Yeah, happy with that. Okay. So I understand where everything is now. I don't know if that was a good idea or not. Okay. I think I can come here now. I think there's a pawn on d3, is there? I think that was king moving in. Okay, I think we can go here. Oh, it's a draw, unfortunately. It might not be. I think it will be. Okay. Oh, is that, how is that rook protected? Oh no, I can capture that. Wow. How is that bishop protected though? Oof. Oh, I had no idea where anything was, so I got very lucky there. Trying to make illegal moves. Okay, I mean, that was just one of the occasions where we didn't lose terribly in time trouble. Okay, there was far less going on the board than I thought there was. Okay, we have bishop d4, of course, to just protect everything. And then here, we just didn't know what the hell was going on, so we went for this weird king march, which eventually almost got us mated. I think our opponent probably had a draw, right? They had a draw here just by keeping going with these moves, right? But unfortunately, they went like this and lost. All right, good games. We'll call it there for now. But we'll be back with more live blindfold chess on full board vision. See you later.